Hello and welcome along to another edition of From the Toe podcast. As Toby yet again here. Today we're very fortunate enough to have one of the elder statesmen, as we'll call him, Jamie McGowan, coming along, also known as Danny McGrain. He's some ex-teammates. Jamie, how are we doing?
Aye, not bad, mate. Not bad yourself.
I'm okay, mate. Thanks very much for taking the time to do this. Lovely day there, out in Saint-Tropez. Is that what you're staying there?
Aye, it's Sandale Barfield.
In the gardens.
Aye.
Obviously, you played junior before you came to Finnart and things like that. Let's go right back. You probably, the same as everybody else, you always get caught up in it. When did you first hear about Finnart, or when did you find out about them before you went to them?
The thing I always think to myself, how do I not know about Finnart when you look at their history? And that's not just saying it because I've been part of it now for a while, but when I was playing with Bellis and juniors at the time, and Joe Reid was playing. And one thing, I can't remember exactly how it came about, but just due to my work, I had to stop playing on Saturdays. So I went to go and play on a Sunday. And Joe had said, I think at the time you could play Saturday and Sunday because you're amateur status at juniors. And don't know how it works now. But Joe said, come down to us on the Sunday. And we down and started playing with Finnart on the Sunday, and that was it. And then when I heard how they've been doing there the years and all that, and I was like, how do I not know about them? Because I played with the Postal YM and all that, and I'd been on bits of the amateur football for with other teams and that, but I hadn't really knew, kind of heard of the name, but didn't know where they were even fae. Never mind what they'd won yet. I mean, so once I get up to speed straight away with that, I was like, this team's a team, by the way. Bit of nutcases, but all nutcases.
So Joe Reid was at fault for getting you go along, is that what you're saying?
Joe Reid was the man, yep. Reid was the man.
So obviously Phil would have been your manager. Who was in your team? Can you remember the players or the characters in that first team you went to? I know you were probably still playing in Red Ash and you had long hair and that. You know what I mean?
Aye, four locks.
Like Salvatore, the Italian, no?
Some people say Moravcik, but I think I was better than him. No, there was a mix of boys, obviously, because you turned up for games and you were looking for getting teams together. I mean, some weeks as well, which was quite hard and Phil and shooting that. But mostly it was always the players, obviously. Like Philip at the time, Brian was there at the time, Philip, Davy, Colin Blair. And I think Big Hustle was in goals, and Andy was in goals for a spell. Obviously, Joe, John Bannigan, people like that. John Cahoon, I think, was there at the time, and then I think John McBain come back again. And I always tell people about Big Brian. I can't remember Big Brian's second name. He played at the back. He's a centre-half. He's a taxi driver doing the thing now. And he's just nutmeg people in front of the 6 yard line and stuff like that. And he was tremendous, man. Absolutely brilliant. And he would just leer you if you gave him any. He just punched people. So,
were you in the team like wee Pat Farrow and that? Did they play when you played?
Pat was there, Pat and Tam that were there for a bit. They'd always been there for a long time before I get there, you know what I mean? And the history is that they stood for a long time with Finnart and how much they'd win when they were there. But so Pat was there for a good bit and all. Tam McGee, who was something else, and two of them were something else, they boys. Like big cramps and that, but they were all finished by the time I'd started playing. I think Scurley played a couple of times still and all. We needed players, I'm sure he's
I think Scurley's still playing the new, man.
Nah, I know. But that was the other stages, and then that was kind of the team. But then I remember it more as we got a wee bit more successful, and it was like Big Smudger and Sav and Danny came along, and yeah, I mean all the kind of boys. Then obviously Michael Kennedy and McD and Eddie Deary and Beansy and that's the ones I remember, Mary, because obviously that's where we started winning a lot more as well. So
you're saying there obviously the boys came along. So you had ones. Obviously, for that, we're always, as you say, historically winning stuff and things like that. What was your first Scottish? Well, many Scottish have you won?
My first Scottish, we get beaten. I was at Stenhousemuir, and the first goal, I always kind of blame myself in a way because I went there the ball on the edge of the box to clear it, and just rattled off somebody's knee and just shot right by, shot into the goals. So that was disappointing to lose that one. Then the next one we win. Again, I say I'm murder for dates and things like that. But so next one we'd win. I think the two that I've actually taken part in the win. The third one, I'd come back from a knee injury when I'd snapped my ACL, and I was in the stand that day. Had kind of signed because Phil had I think I signed this season, I know, still for Finnart, you know what I mean? But Phil gets you signed every season. I think I signed that season when the year I was injured, but no, the first one. Who was the first one? Was the first bank? Was it Banks of D? Was that what? That was that one. Was that the second one? I think.
I don't know.
That's what was the third one when I was in the stand. Second one was Banks. Who was the first one? Can't remember now. I see a murder things like that. I think Roundtree, they beat us in the.
They beat us eventually.
That was the 2-1. So it was one after that. But then the one that just sticks me all the time was the one, and I think we spoke about in the videos we done this through the start of the lockdown. With Bob's goal. That one always sticks in my head because the way we came back with Danny scoring the late one and then Bob scoring the winner. Yeah, I mean we went an extra time and Bob scoring the winner. And as a wee guy, I remember in that game as a wee guy playing in the middle of the park for them. And he was quite a good wee player. But he stayed back for a corner. I think it was a corner, we cleared the corner and I chased it down. And this is in injury time, or extra time, sorry. And I've just kind of rolled, hitting him a bit and he just rolled and cracked his shoulder. I think he had to go half injured. I just remember that. And then me long, no after that we'd scored. Bob scored his wonder goal, which that always sticks me. I've not got a good best of memories for games and goals and stuff, but that'll stick with me.
Especially when he's no prolific. He's never a prolific goal scorer.
No.
He never ventured that far, as you say.
No, brilliant man. Bounced off his knee 3 or 4 times, mind you, but you need a wee bit of luck as well to get it, and tremendous. Because I played with Bob on a Saturday, him and like wee Paul Rodden and that with Clydebank, and Saturday amateur in the morning, and we'd say about Clyde and Clyde helped out when we were at wee times at that point where we were working up and doing with players as well. Despite being so successful, just trying to get players in was still always hard for Phil, you know what I mean? So
that's one player in order. I think I watched really well was Ronaldo. Paul was probably
sensational, man.
Amazing, man. And just and it was like it didn't even phase him. It wasn't as if he knew he was good, but it wasn't as if he was big either about it. He just loved in the game and played and loved the football. And a lot of people, I think he's been forgot about a wee bit. I know because there was so many players as went through. Obviously, by the time you've been there and I've been there, part of the setup, there've been so many good players that when you think and you do your lockdown questions and you do something like this, you'll still come after this and you'll think, oh God, I forgot about him.
100%. I don't know if the lockdown questions. I don't know. I mean, how did I not mention this guy and that guy? I mean, guys that have done brilliant for the club, and I was even forgetting to say like when you asked about the earlier team, people like John Bannigan and all that, and John Quinn. I think I did maybe mention him, but like, nowhere near the credits you get for it, because at the times when I first went, Finnart were needing kind of players. They were needing, as I say, there's been like that for years. Spells we were going through teams, pumping them, and then the following week you're struggling to get a team together. I mean, Phil, we're waiting at a pub at Scotch, we went for a boys together, and Phil's pulling to the best.
I think they had 11. Woody was a sub, and I'm sure Father Stewart must have been sub. We were through it. The Kibble. Actually, Kibble, we actually won the league that day. You, Sean Burns.
Danny Dine goals.
Aye, it's just madness. I mean, things like that. You say to yourself, how can people be there and like 1 week, as you say, you get a squad of 18 to pick for the 4 week, you're struggling to get 11 to make a team. And we had to put a team out that day because that was obviously win the league. You don't play the 84 fit and you're struggling. You're relying on other teams to beat whatever it might have been. But I just
amateur football, mate. It's just amateur football for you, and that was the thing. You used to always hear things way back in the days, and I was maybe a victim of it myself sometimes, and people are winking at where when it came to the Scottish, the big games, as people would say, and certain people would turn up and get a game.
Mm-hmm.
At the time, you're a football player, you're annoyed, you want to play every game. You've played the weeks and weeks prior when you're struggling with 10, 11 men, and you want to play. Being a bit older now, and you see the position you're in and how much it meant to like, people that fall in that. It must be hard to get a balance, because he knows like putting somebody else in that's playing maybe like a drum chat or whatever, and boys that have known to do great things. They're good players, you know what I mean? So you've got that extra pressure to bring people in to do these games. As we'd said, we wanted them there all the time. We wanted them there at every game, league games, and then eventually that sunk in, and to be fair to the boys, they did start coming more often, you know what I mean? And with a cracking team, you know what I mean? But I know there used to be talk, you only pull players in, but all the teams did at the time, didn't they? They all said that about the other teams that were up against us, you know what I mean? So.
Listen, I mean, we went and played teams where after it, you battered them, and then you found out after it in the boozer that they've got 3 junior players playing for them or something. Or somebody else's name.
One went to Blackburn, something or other. There was a team for Blackburn we played, and I think it was like a quarter final. I think we beat them 3-2. Wasn't the best of pitch, and there was a boy in Middle Park that had. He was a good player, and I don't know if he scored from him. He was an older boy, and he put it back a few times to me, and I was at a wedding a couple of months later, and I'm like, I know that guy's face, and he came and spoke to me. You know, play with Finnart? And I went, that's right. I says, I know you for football. It's like I played Blackburn this or something they're called, and I would just get talking to him about the game, and he went, we'd loads of ringers in that day. We'd brought boys in for the juniors, for Blackburn juniors. They'd all come in to play in that game to get through. I said, that would beat us anyway. Just boys for the scheme.
To no avail, man. To no avail. So obviously, all the years at Finnart, once you stopped, well, you didn't stop playing because what had happened is the Saturday team came along, and yourself, I think it was Jack, Winky or Joe, whatever, it was a collective group, wasn't there, of people.
Right.
So we had 2 Sunday teams at that time. So
that's right. We done it for
when the teams were A, B, it was just 2 Sunday teams.
Yep.
And we tried that. How did you feel about that? How did that come along? What was the issue with that?
I can't remember how we came to the decision. I think I say no idea they were going to go Saturday. Maybe that's where we'd keep the Sunday thing going. I can't remember, but we went up running with it with a good wee team. Maybe wee Kenny playing in the middle of the park who would dance by people for fun, and a few other boys playing. We were a cracking wee team. Joe was playing. I was playing. You say Jack Nat was playing. But then it kind of died off a wee bit, and I think because of people like Joe and me and Jack had even played, we obviously with Finnart and all, because of the expectations we always had at Finnart, I don't know if deep down it's gone, this is no Finnart. Now, like, in your regards to the way you're playing, and obviously Phil and Stuart seen dark days and had to pull them through and get, and I don't know why it stopped. I don't know if it was didn't work again, whatever. I'm not sure. I'm really not sure. But it didn't really last long. I don't think we didn't even finish the season off. I mean, I don't know why that. Can I think we died off? Can't remember.
But obviously, so that didn't work out for us. But then 19s, you took on the 19s.
Aye, the was that
me, you, and Danny.
Aye, that was like 3 Stooges, man. Calamity Jane.
But I think, see, looking back now, you look at the players that we had in that team.
Oh, brilliant.
And some of the boys, and we got picked at the last third, it was Fallon, remember?
Aye, that's right.
We were out at Fallon, and Murphy got sent off, Mark got sent off, and then I had to go. And you knew the boy John, did you know their manager?
Aye.
I think you did.
I didn't think.
I can't remember. I think you knew him for somewhere. And we were sent after we're still wanting to fight, and I had to stand between them. Two of them are trying to fight in the middle of a corridor with no place on because I've been sent after them for a killer. Oh my God. But we had a good squad. And obviously then...
young Dan played with you, Dan Miller.
Dan Miller, who's new Darvel,
Aye.
We had big Leo Maguire, Mark Murphy, Stidge. I mean,
Brian.
Cracking players.
Good team, man.
Team actually was fast, absolute speed bomb, man. You know what I mean? But I had a really good time, and I think if that we could have kept that team together, because what had happened is obviously remember 21s were struggling with John and Chichi, and that's obviously some of the boys went up to that, and they were. I think that was a wee bit too soon for him because we were all like Dan was only 15, 16 playing, was it under 19s? You know what I mean? Right. Don't get me wrong, he was shot in Zane, he was capable, his ability was there for what you see.
Bag, but we didn't get a tackle.
Chocolate.
I'm watching the Tommy Junior game, he still does it. Hope you're watching this, Dan Miller.
Well, no, listen, I'll get him on one of the walks and show him, don't worry. But I thought if we'd have kept them together, obviously we'd have had a better side and we gave them a couple of years to go because that was only my first year. I think we go to the quarters of the 2 cups we're in,
right.
Beating one of the semis, the other one, and we're at the last game of the season basically. We could have won the league and we didn't. We get picked because Fallon beat us, but no disrespect to them. You know what I mean? They'd always been that team that was winning everything. Anyway,
just rattled them a bit, didn't we?
Aye.
The other thing was trying to separate you and Dan at times. Disagreeing on the top. We'll not go down that route with Danny.
That's how we go. I'll say this, I don't care. That's how we get rid of him. We send him back to full. You need to take him. How he's causing havoc with the teams. Do you don't need him to play this week? We'll get rid of him. So we had some good times with that. Obviously that, as we say, that went a wee bit different then. obviously came along the opportunity. Young Jamie was wanting to get into football, and then obviously you were taking your team. So how did that come about then? Was it just because the wee man was looking for a club? Or?
Again, so Jamie played, he was like Jimmy Johnson for a bit, he was up at Primo, just done a couple of wee different bits and bobs, and then I got talking to like Mark McKenzie and obviously Connor's dad, and said like, we're doing this as well as doing ourselves, you know what we're doing. So we just spoke to Phil. Phil's like, aye, go for it. And I think it was maybe around about the same time we started all the academy stuff. Not after it anyway. We started the odd ages anyway. So I was just like, I'm as well as managing Jamie myself, like get a team up running for that age group, because I knew that they had a good few boys for the school team as well. Connor's always a cracking player. Connor was like all the pro youth teams and that as well. I mean, so some cracking players. And before you knew it, we were up and running. Persley, Ryan Madden, all boys that are still playing in it. Well, I don't know if Ryan is as much now, but we Persley still playing with part of Finnart and stuff. So, and Big Jack McElveen eventually came on board. So we ended up a cracking team. That 2000 age group always came so close to things. You know what I mean? But regards to and domestically, but I was winning the Blackpool tournament a few times, won the Stirling one, the Loch Lomond one in Stirling. But it was just a wee bit short when it came to domestic. But you took stuff off some of the games we were playing against teams that I remember we played a team for Kilmarnock, and they hammered everybody anyway. Fair, Belfield, I think it was called, and Reese Cavan that was playing was as well, Danny's boy, and they were smashing us, and then they were just starting to be really, really cheeky, and you're like, these wee boys are just going into first year or whatever, you know what I mean? They're just having a size, you're still playing, you know what I mean? What's this all about? And we were about to go into 11s, and I remember speaking to Mark after it, and I think one of it was Reese, the wee guy pulled him back and caused a bit of drama, and I was like, off the park, just come off, forget it, come off the park. And the boys like, oh, it's all right, we'll go home with it. The boy for their team. I was like, no, mate, you know what, forget it. My boys are not interested in this. They're here to play football, and you're just like, gang. Sweet revenge. We were going to chuck it at the end. We were still, maybe we're just not good enough to go 11 asides yet. Maybe there's some of the boys, but we've not got enough depth and squad. But we worked hard and got some boys in. Went and played the first game of the season against Team Easterhouse, they were called, and won 13-0. And for them, we were like, oh, here we go. You know, it wasn't that bad. So, and we went on a good roll. And we played your Celtic boys clubs, your Rangers. All seemed to come up short against teams like that, Belfield. But then the tide started turning. A piece of time, we started rattling some of these teams. I remember we beat Belfield down it, Kilmarnock, beat them 1-0, and it was freezing. Wee Bailey Maguire was in goals and ended up with hypothermia. I think he just did nothing a day. And we hammered them at 1-0. But I think it was Kieran Carey scored the goal. That was sweet, because that was the ones that we'd always wanted to beat because of the grief it gave before. So, and then your Celtic juniors and all that, boys that I knew are coaches or managers as well. Eventually, Endrum Saggart. You got to know the boys well, but you still wanted to get one of them because they thought they were the bee's knees. You know what I mean? And we only went the Harmony Road tournament, beating Endrum Saggart in the semi-final, which went doing well. They weren't happy with that, but and then beat Harmony Road in penalties. Big Peter, big Polish boy was in goals with that one and saved a couple of penalties. That so they were brilliant memories. You know what I mean? Brilliant memories. Cracking wee team, which eventually came in end as well after a few years, you know. So
well, that's it, because obviously boys move on and they don't get the same passion, desire, whatever it might, to play the game. Yep. And as you've been saying, Aaron, we've always said own this and the lockdown stuff to get players to play consistently and average it. And the difference, like you look at it now, this West of Scotland football has started up. I mean, there's silly money getting through that. Whereas back in the day, we were paying to play football. We were paying for people to play football. They couldn't pay or sell, and we still do to this day as a club to make it as accessible and as free as we can to everybody, that they don't need to worry about paying this or paying that. We try and there's ways where we do the fundraising, you know, yourself and bagpacking, race nights, Halloween parties, man. Some of your stuff you've done have been absolute legends, you know what I mean? That some of the parties that you threw, the boys all dressed up, you know what I mean? I still remember the 19s night we went to Shopfield. Oh, we ended up back to Scotsman, absolutely steaming, doing shots and all that, rolling our motors as if we're Miami Vice. Things like that. I mean, Big McGowan said to me one day about it, he says, I don't know how, if you'd use our function, he says, because use well that, we've got to return. He said, we're going to use, you don't get anybody, you're too drunk. I said, you're supposed to be the adults, you know what I mean? But Aye, just brilliant.
All the records were all legal, but they're all 18
Aye,
at the
they
time,
were,
so
they were.
it's fine.
That was it. It was under 19, so.
Nah.
But you see,
No,
obviously you were talking about when you started the 2000s, then the academy came into tune. How do you feel about that now, looking back now and seeing how it's grew? And you were obviously you were part of that. You're part of the committee. Big Phil, Stuart, myself, Woody. I mean, I remember Woody Wilson and Big Phil there. They do it. You know what I mean?
Aye. Well, that very first session we had was on the, if you remember, doing it at BCLC on the kind of.
Aye, the pitch.
Can we call it AstroTurf? Can we call it AstroTurf on that green carpet?
I call it an indoor bowling carpet. That's what it was like.
It was like. Obviously, Phil had been advertising, we'd been spreading the word, and I can't remember how many we set up, but it was mental. And we've got all these drills running on this park, and then some of the boys were on the wee pitch bit as well, but we were at the back, the school bit, and it just mental. But also, I look back at it well, you know what I mean, because if you look at where it came, obviously, then as it grew, and as much as I was doing other things with 2000s, I became kind of like that chairperson type thing and helping out as much as like, people like yourself, you saying that, and we tried to do the best we could. And then before you know it, you got like Jamie McGowan, Chris Watson, Gary, you know, all the boys that started then coming on. Obviously Wally with 2003s, Gary 2004s, and then it just all fell into place, didn't it? And you look back at that and think the players that we've brought through and the things that we all say about giving the community something, and the boys we've took over. You still see some hanging about now because they're no party. Maybe like boys that I helped young Jamie take 2004s and 2003s. And some of the boys you see for 2004s that you know are just needing that wee bit of something today now, that wee bit of guidance in that. Yep. But you still see some kind of hanging about and Briggs and that, and you're like, sometimes you just can't help everybody. You know what I mean? But,
you could be doing this, you could be doing that.
Aye, but
you try to help. That's what it's all about. The club's always been. That's what I keep. Even Brian touching it and all that. Said he was doing his dives and the doors went and he's answered the door and all that. Going to ask Phil, you got a line of a ball? You know what I mean? He's like, dial line of a ball and he's like, get him out of the shed. It's like, no matter what, he's always trying to help people and that's what the club's always been about. You know what I mean? And it's good to concede that length of time, from 79 to the now, it's still going, it's still that same ethos that he tried to get in that club to bring people together for an area, for the scheme, for the community. And as we say, we always like to give something back. You know what I mean? It started doing the lockdown, the last man standing stuff. Brian had some money left for that we decided that we were going to donate it. So donated it to like food bank and stuff like that, and bought stuff for local groups to help them out. And that's what it's always been about. I mean, you've done it yourself. You do like your charity walks when you had your team. I mean, even the pink strip that came about for you, was it not like breast cancer?
Breast cancer, yeah. And everybody's got pink strips. Yeah, I mean, we done that and we raised £2,000 and got a lot of attention at the time. The pink strips, they weren't they? Our boys, one or two boys were a bit reserved, but in general, oh, let's do this, man. With the breast cancer sign on it and everything else. We get some nice letters and certificates for breast cancer research and done all right with it. And then now, you look at now, there's good on the green a Saturday or Sunday when pre-lockdown. Everybody's got a pink strip now. You know what I mean? There's
and the males.
Aye.
Females, but all your male teams have wrote it as well, you know what I mean?
No, so it was a good thing for today and we just wanted something to get behind it, really, you know what I mean? And no, it was good.
So say there obviously it's came to the end, but it's not really because as you know yourself, you're literally only a phone call or a bump into fall away for getting real back in.
I met the gaffer the other day, I met the gaffer the other day, watching our team. He's like, what are you doing watching this team? I was like, because you're playing away. I thought you were at home. I thought you were down here at the green. So, no.
What's he doing? That's what you doing here.
Well, his good lady phoned him. What are you doing? He goes, I'm just playing the pitch. I'll be running away him soon. So, Kathy was right on his case. Mrs. Finnart was on his case right away. So, doesn't get talking to him for long, but
obviously,
no enough said. Sorry, Toby. No enough's been said about that guy. And I see during all these the lockdown kind of questions and people going, Finnart legend, and rightly so. People maybe mention people that have done tremendous for the club. I don't know where you put him, really, Phil. I really I can't speak highly. Where do you put him? How high does it go? Because the guy has been phenomenal for the whole area, and maybe doesn't about things right way he loses the nuts sometimes, but you can't take anything away from what that guy's done.
He
for
gets the
everything in
job.
that area, man.
You might not like the way he goes about it, but he gets it done. He gets the best out of people.
100%.
He gets the best for everything, every team, every club. He does, as you say, might not be the right way about going about it, but he still does it. You know what I mean?
We know we spoke before, more so it was yourself, it was pushing it, like the whole local community champion thing and that.
Aye. I still think that should be something that we should be pushing for. When that comes back round, we should.
100%.
Because, not just, obviously, Phil's put in the 10 effort, Big Stuart put in the 10 effort, Caffey, but Phil was that person with the guys away to start done it, and he's always been consistently there, week in, week out, get up his time. And we all know he's dug deep his own tail 100 times. It's not about the money for him. It's never been about anything other than the name, the Finnart name.
You can't measure what he's done. You just can't put a price on it, a scale on it. It's phenomenal what he's done. And to still be doing it now, when he took a wee step back, and obviously for regards to the amateurs, and let Brian take the reins with that, and then he's doing better with the youths and with the kids side of things. But I don't know, he's carry like, measure it. It's unbelievable.
He's still there. He's still that driving voice. I was going to say something else. He's still that driving voice, pain in the backside, so to speak. When you go to meetings or whatever, they're all Phil's on one. You know what I mean? But then when you talk to him, if you talk to yourself outside a meeting, like you talk to Jamie, you talk to Gary, and you're talking to him about it, and they say, but he's right. If he's not saying that, you're not blowing our backside. You're not chasing up. You're not running things on, and we're not getting things done right unless Phil's there. Well, what did you say you were doing? You've not done it. How no? You said you're doing that. You should have been doing it. You've not done it. You've got 2 weeks. You're on it. You had 6 weeks. You've got 2. You're going to need to cram all that in. So, he's still the driver behind it. He's still the basically the ording grinder. You know what I mean? He's
definitely.
Everything's done. On Jamie, on the fact that you've been there that long, right? And we always ask people their memories and their stories. What stories or memories can you share that we can broadcast?
Obviously, as I spoke earlier about winning the Scottish Cup, and it's funny how that's the one. I mean, I remember the Castlemilk game I was sitting there, but it wasn't much to play with. The first one I can't remember really much, the first Scottish Cup game, but the one where Bob scored that winner, that'll stay me forever. Because there's a couple of crying shots, and Danny will know them. There's a couple of crying shots where I think I'm one, I'm just like cheering, and there's one that's me and Danny. It's a crying picture.
That's
we get 2 goals that day. And
Danny brings him out noon again when he's reminiscing or he's feeling sorry for himself.
I don't think I've got them, but so that does. I can say things like I remember when the first time winning the Blackpool tournament with the boys, because a year previous we'd be like, this is not for us. You know what I mean? Me, Mark Willett, and then Joe Madden came in that and we're like, don't feel good enough. But to be doing win the Blackpool tournament, which we knew it was like 20-minute games, you're playing against boys that were clearly not the same age group as you. You know what I mean? Running about beers and moustaches, kicking you off the ball. To win that tournament, Julian scored a goal, and I remember actually getting. I don't get that emotional, but I remember having a wee tear in there. You know what I mean? Because of the reaction with everybody else, with loads of parents doing with us, all the boys were all greeting. It was phenomenal.
What it means to them as well.
Because they knew we were just a happy wee team. You know, like Toby, we just plugged on, we worked hard, we got the ball on the deck, and that ethos, we just stuck with it. Because obviously that's what the amateurs are still doing as well. The ball on the deck and just zip the ball about as quick as we can, get it moving quick, and work hard for each other and putting the whole Finnart thing in it. So for us to get something ourselves there, it was emotional. That always stick with me. Story wise, there's loads of stories. I didn't, as you probably know, I didn't hit the pub as much after the games as maybe.
Because you were worse than 2 can, Dan. You'd won.
I know. I remember Peyton dropping me in the heat and broke a tail on the flare in the Scotsman, and I think that was the last time I was ever in it. I was like, I'm not allowing myself to go back out anymore. But no, but obviously I've not got the kind of crazy stories, but it's more so on the game. I remember a couple of times playing teams. Barhead Burrocks brings to mind. We're playing down at the Xena Cup game, and me, Danny Charters was playing, and I think Paul McCall got a bad tackle put in him, and he just turned around and booted the boy right in the face when the boy was on the deck, and they were all stood on the side, and there was a ex-professional football player there who played in goals for a team for Aberdeen at the time. I'll not mention his name. He was stood at the side, and they were all stood and drinking all these boys. So a can of lager comes on, and that's it. It's all kicked off. And then I remember Danny Charles just walking down maybe about 10 or 12 of them, and I roast on all these boys with cans of lager. Like, oh, Danny Sharp was like, bang, bang, just punch him one at a time. And I took my top off, went, I'm away, see you later on. I started walking off the pitch. And the time I got to the corner flag, David Blair, young David shouted, Jamie, where you going? I'm finished, man, I'm done. I can't do this. This is the least. It's like, no, the ref's playing on, it's all right. And I was like, what? And I was like, talked back on the park and played. But then I think the game did get abandoned. I don't know if we went a game, whatever. And then we played it at a neutral venue right there for Barhead, a neutral venue at King James's Park, I think they're called in Paisley. There's like hundreds of pitches next to the airport. We played it there, and we hammered them. I think we beat them. We beat them about 5-1. I think I scored 1 or 2. Horrible day. And we had a few boys out. We had a few boys out to watch us, but the weather was horrible. So probably could have done with a few more after the carry on. This was the replay of what had happened, and nothing. Game went by without an instant until like minutes to go, and a wee boys, I'm in ready to shoot, and the wee boys just come right in off me. It's a cracking tackle, but as a fail, I've elbowed him because I was about to score, and the referee gave a corner. As I've hit him, he's hit me back. That was it. Who's up ready to go, and then it just carnage pursued, and they had people just appearing from nowhere, and I'll always remember a wee fat guy came running towards me with a Union Jack hat on. And like, oh, what's probably shouting something about Rangers or whatever, I don't know. Come running towards it. Well, I just turned in. I was like, right, ready for this, man. And next minute, Philip Blair went by me like Hong Kong Fury. He was like this mad karate kick and booted the wee guy in the chest, and he went for about 40 yards up the pitch. He was a wee fan coming on the park to say a bit of it. And I was at game was done. It was literally the last seconds of the game, the last minute of the game. And we all back as the game was finished, went into the changing room. And the ref came in and sent off about 3 or 4 players for your team, and I wasn't one of them. And I was the one that started it. So that sticks with me. So with good times like that. I mean, the boys always a brilliant bunch of boys. You know what I mean, and pals for life. Is you make with Finnart. I mean, even if you're in there for a season, you've always got memories. But either just for the banter for people like Boise and Bristol to boys like Brian Blair still there, you know what I mean, and driving the team forward. You always get memories. Danny, I've got to mention your holy draws, mate. Your special draws.
I told him the Paddy Power ones.
Jesus, man. Scottish Cup ones. Getting ready for a Scottish Cup game, and I don't think he ever done it to me. I can't remember doing it to me. But he would say something to somebody and then bend down with the big hole in the back of his pants, right in their face, and it'd be like math or something. Would look up and go, "Yeah, I laugh, man." And he'd just be there and he's like, "Lucky pants on the day, boys." I'm like, no, I remember it was in Livingston. I think that was it done it. First time I ever seen him doing it. I was like, Jesus Christ. But no, loads of memories. It's what makes a lot of us where we are, I think, in a good way and a bad way, you know what I mean? Because it's part of growing up in it, it's part of learning. As much as I played when I was in my late 20s and that, into my 30s, but you're still learning every day. People are about you, know what I mean? And then some of the younger ones come in and how they get about themselves and that. So, but no, it's crank set up, stuff that will stay with you forever, you know what I mean? So
there you're saying there you were scoring goals, but you're not When I was, well, I remember you scoring playing up front, but most people probably remember you playing at the back.
Aye.
You know what I mean? So
I know.
What's your natural position?
I always played middle of the park, mate. Played middle of the park. Played junior middle of the park. No, even up front. I remember when one of the lockdowns, and it was Dougs that was talking about his. He mentioned me on one of the questions, and he was just saying when down to like Saltcoats, I think we were playing against Mermaid at the time, whatever they were. We had good banter with him, good friendly with him, and I was doing what Diggs was like, who's this guy? Who's this old guy coming? Is he going today? Is he physio or something? And I played up front that day and I'd scored in that, which I can't remember. When Diggs went, well, did I score that day? All right. But I did play up there as well, but in most part I preferred playing middle of the park. And then in the latter years I was playing fullback or whatever. But I remember one game, it's a cracking memory, we played against, remember a team called Dominoid? This team, and we go to the cup game. I think they were in the 3rd division, and we'd no goalie, and we Andy Robertson played in goals, and he let one in, and then they go to off time. It was like 10 or 11 nothing, and Andy being Andy, Phil, going to let me out. I done you a favour, get in. I was like, I'll go in. I went in goals, and I think finished 22-1 or something. So I kept a clean sheet, Proud to say that, 22-1. But I remember somebody gave me the ball back, and I'm walking out with it, and I've picked it up. It was I think it was one of the opposing team, so I was allowed to pick it up. And so I kind of walked out a bit. Guys couldn't shut me down. I've picked it up like that, and then he's walked back out. So I put it back down again, and started walking with it again. And I go to the edge of the box, and then he's turning to come back again. So I dragged it back, and lift it up again, and Phil starts screaming at the side of the park. So I was like, I just threw it up, both picked it up at the park, and he's still making a beeline towards me. What the fuck's wrong with him? And he's come all the way to the side of the goals like, oh, stupid. And I'm like, what's wrong with me? I'm like 18-1 up or something. You know how to do that? It's like, do what? Like, you picked the ball up and put it down and picked it up again. And I'm like, oh, right, okay, Phil, sorry. I'm like, you're gubbing teams and you're still getting abuse, you know what I mean? But I remember that. That was good, man. That was good. And that was the thing with some of the teams. You play some of these teams and you kind of feel for them, you know what I mean? Obviously, you're taking a barrel load off them, but it was good to share the goals out, you know what I mean? I probably didn't score enough goals for Finnart as I probably should have, I think. You know what I mean? I always think I should have scored more. I used to score loads of goals before I went junior, and that kind of changed my game a bit. I became more a bit of a digger, I think, when I went junior, you know what I mean? And not putting a boot in, but just had to toughen up a bit for the juniors, you know what I mean? But I did get a fair share of goals. But
when all this, obviously, when this lockdown stuff and whatever, hopefully it's all back to normal sooner than later, right? I've been saying to certain people, certain quarters, the team they know, you think you could get a team together, the ex Finnart players that could give them a game and beat them? Because I think he's with that. I like them, they're doing really well, the boys, don't get me wrong. They're playing really good. A great result there at the weekend against Steadfast, 7-1 and that, and it was a really good performance. But I still feel the old guard have still got enough there to, because he's going to be running about like maniacs. He'd be playing the ball into feet. They're all teed, and I've seen it many a time watching older, especially like the over 35s, the 40s, and that. When you go and watch them, the standard of football is great.
I played it myself a while this year, and it was brilliant. This is brilliant.
Might not be the fastest, you know what I mean? Might not be the fastest, but the skills there and the knowledge and the reading of the games is second to none. I mean, so I think you should get together and give them a game. I think I'll coach them, mind you. I think I'm beyond the time of that, but I just want to kick somebody still. Probably Ryan McLean since he's back here, since my nephew's back here, but I'm going to be able to catch him anyway. I'd have to get him aside. It depends if Wee McCabe can play with us rather than the younger ones. Know where he's at the Wee McCabe. He's classing an old one. He's classing an old one.
So we get McCabe and Dev Mackay and Michael and McNee and all that, and you know what I mean, if we get a few of the boys in, Brian can come and play for us, then you know what I mean, we'll take a few off him, I think, actually, to be honest.
Well, there you go, that's the gauntlet.
They'll be here first.
Put down Blair, the gauntlet's down there, the challenge has been set.
As long as these boys turns up. I have to tell us the Scottish Cup game.
No, I was just kidding on, it's the Scottish to some boys. So the team that knows, we're talking about the team that know. Have you? I know it's no beat to see them because it's happening, but are you still keeping in touch? You still know what they're up to? You still know some of the boys that are there?
Yeah, definitely. I try and just working on Saturdays. Obviously, I'm a man of leisure now, so I'll try and get some games, which I did on Saturday. I go down and see them. I know they're at home the next 2 games, isn't they?
Yep. Training tonight and then home on Saturday. Well, I'll be videoing on Saturday. I'll be there on Saturday videoing it.
So I'll go down and see them on Saturday, hopefully. Just once Jamie's at his training. So, but no, listen, they've got some cracking players there. It's good to see big Mark in that side. Mark's got the world at his feet. He's screwed it up. And remember when Mark was with the 19s and coming like to punish him, doing a bit of training and all that, you know what I mean? And you know, the boy knows he's a player, you know what I mean? But since then, I think he's knuckled down, he's worked hard and he knows how good he can be as well. So that's good that Brian's managed to keep hold of him. And then seeing Ryan McLean back and all is brilliant, you know what I mean?
As I said to Ryan, you'll see Ryan's questions because I've done the on the spot and you'll see them, I'll put them up later. But as I said, I watched Big Mark 30 years back, as you say, 19s really well and all that. And he went away, went junior and that. Whether he liked it or he didn't like him or he didn't like them that's irrelevant to us because he's came back a better player now. He's went away and he's seen that other side of the game. He's realised that.
So something switched.
Mm-hmm. So his game's improved again, and to watch him then, to see him now, you're thinking how can he improve much, because he was really good anyway. He was really at the start of the game, but he's came back and he's more composed now, and I think he just gets it now. Whereas previously he just played for the love of the game, and he's still doing that, but he's got a bit more heart.
He's got all years ahead of him, which is brilliant. I mean,
he's still young.
No, I know. I mean, look at some of the boys, having like Duggs and Ben that on your team and all. I mean, some good wee bit of experience here as well. You know what I mean? So I think the boys will do really well. I think they'll do really well. Unfortunately, the season finished there. But as a club, we deserve it as well. We deserve to be up there at the top all the time and playing the top, bit more prestige games. You know what I mean? They deserve it. Certainly do.
Well, you said that they deserve it. What do you want to see for the future of the amateurs? Never mind, don't mind the academy or that now, just the amateurs, because I would like to see them up there challenging in the top division time after time, challenging for the Scottish, the West, where it should be. What we're always doing on the Sunday, but let's do that on the Saturday. And it's been hard. Transition period where I was saying we weren't established enough on the Saturday. The cracking name, don't get us wrong, on the Sunday and football in general. But to put that transition into the Saturday and try to get players to come who were already established sides, whether it had been like Templet and Albert struggled, you know what I mean, and they're not there anymore, which is another great side that some of the boys played before they came to us. The Templet, the Drum Chapels, your Covels, your Knightswood, Campsies, things like that, who had all good sides. You know what I mean? So this is where I think now that Finnart, we need to raise our game. Brian's got it there. He's got a good squad of boys, and he's keeping them fit. He's keeping them ticking them air, and he's kept them all together during all this, which is that's some job in itself. Plus, he's added a few good players to the squad. It's not as if he's just added numbers. You know what I mean? He's added a good few players that have got quality there as well, and it's pushing the other guys on to perform that wee bit better. So I'm the same as yourself, mate. I would like to see them progress as well.
It'd be good to see them, and then obviously we can talk about the cows come home in regards to getting their own pitch, but we're now at a stage where we deserve that, and our whole West of Scotland set-up thing, you know what I mean, fast forward a good few years, and who knows, you know what I mean, they just start getting results and turning there the way we should be turning there. We're not going to get into it now, but we've had tons of debates about hubs and everything else, you know what I mean, but we deserve it. I think we deserve it as a community in the Brighton area.
And it's no disrespect to anybody else. I mean, look, I don't mean to talk anybody down, but who was Gap Cairn before they came along? I mean, Big Alex done a tremendous job with them. They were nothing. I never heard them in my life. Like Drumchapel in that West of Scotland. They've got, I think they're sharing home park. Is it? I think they'll be playing it maybe. I don't know. I'm not too sure.
Is it about that? Doing it Yoker?
I think so. And then there's other teams and all in that faction. I mean, BSC Glasgow, they've came from anywhere. You know what I mean? East Kilbride have done amazing. They've done fantastic. I think you just need to get I think areas are bought into it. You know what I mean? And that's what we need as a community. We need our community to get right behind us and push the Finnart name on a wee bit more than what it's been getting. And I think that needs to start with guys like us. We've always been doing it, but I think it's a wee bit more onus on us now to try and get that out there and educate people and say, listen, it's not just the now, it's for 10, 15 years down the line when your grandson's coming for it to play. Or
having the community in it still.
It's building something that the community can be part of, can be proud of, they can take ownership of, and they can support it. You know what I mean? And everybody's got a say in it. They're there, they're giving their time, their effort. I mean, and listen, nothing would. If we're saying that, how do we honour somebody like Phil or something like that? Well, that for me would be the pinnacle of the whole thing. Like a pitch, and it's called the Phil Blair Park or whatever. You know what I mean?
You can't even be anything else. Wouldn't be anything else.
Aye.
You do as a poll if you want, or just decides a committee, but it's got to be. Doesn't matter. It's got to be. And Phil's saying no, it's no. But
no, I'm not having that.
Aye.
I mean, he'd be saying, let's even get somebody to sponsor it, get money.
Aye.
Aye, that's it. I don't know, Jamie. Pretty much, that's nearly come to the end, mate. Just how do you feel about the academy? What would you like to see them progressing there?
The academy's ticking there nice. What a lot of teams are going through is what I came through with 2000s. With me, it kind of died off. Don't get me wrong, we still had a brilliant team when Big Danny took care. Some Drumsagart had went away by that time, and Drumsagart boys then came to help Danny out and everything else. But it's just that age thing, man. Every team experiences it. Sometimes you stick together. There's some really good teams at 21s that are still struggling for getting teams together because they're just that age, aren't they? Maybe not as much 21s, maybe like 19 ages when it gets really tricky, 17s and 19s. But obviously get the Friday night the development league thing at 20-year-olds in it, the 20s. But so things have changed a bit since we've stopped. But I just like to see them keep going. I mean, the boys that have got there, Jamie Marr, Gary, see all the ones we mentioned earlier, they're doing a brilliant job. Chris, I mean, I'm looking at Chris's boys and he's looking for players. I'm looking at the age group there and I'm going, how are they that age already, man?
I know.
Yeah, I mean, Chris is probably saying the same, Chris, man, do you know what I mean? But there's some cracking wee players there. I've been doing watch some of the game. No, again, not as much as we probably had in the past, good on just over the time as much now, but good on watching some of the football they play in that and how they drive them for the top end. It's what we always do. They're doing it the right way. And things come like the 2004s end up having to stop the 2003s with Willie and John who were doing a tremendous, what a joke, what a team they had. You know what I mean? And they had to kind of let things go just with work, just with family life. Yeah. We've all got it, and it's more so work you can get a balance with, but see when it comes to family and you're not seeing your family, you're in maybe kids that are not interested in football in general, or obviously your wife or whatever, your partner, but that's what kind of makes it hard. In my case, obviously, it was just a different route Jamie went doing, and we had to just concentrate on other things there. But
how is the Wendy House building with Jamie?
The Wendy House building, lovely. That was nice one there. Nice wee Wendy House there that we done during lockdown there.
Unbelievable.
Happens to have a punch bag in it as well that he hits now and then.
So that saves I'm hitting you, Jamie, but...
I know. I keep threatening still just 11.
So Jamie was at Finnart. For people that don't know, obviously Jamie's cutting about now in the ring wearing silky shorts and batting people for a living. And if you know Jamie's boy or you don't know, he's one of the nicest, quietest boys I've ever met in my life. 2 minutes before he goes in the ring, he's still that same wee guy I've always knew. Second he goes in that ring, man, I'm not saying he's an animal, but he's composed, he's focused, and he's in there lamping lumps out of people. So tell us a wee bit about Jamie so people can understand where he was, because he was just a wee skinny guy, I remember playing.
He's much the same now as he was then, slightly more confident. Still really quiet, still really shy. And the thing always with Jamie when we played football was I'm not the biggest, his mammy's not the biggest, I mean, Bonnie's not the biggest. So he was always going to be weird, and he was a wee bulk. So when he gets to that stage, 14, 15, all the boys, like obviously boys like Kenneth and all that, Big Owen Kenny, boys that even like Connor wasn't just tall, I mean, just took a stretch, Big Calvin, all the boys that took a stretch, and Jamie was still behind. So he's on a park playing the guys. That was always the difference with him. Good to be skillful player. He was good on the dead ball and things like that. Scored his goals. He loved playing with Finnart. He absolutely loved playing for it. Loved scoring his goals. If he scored a goal, he wouldn't shut up talking about it. That's the time you couldn't get to shut up. But at the same time, when he was doing that, he was always at Punisher doing his kickboxing as well. Since he was up, just short his 12th birthday. So the whole time he was training twice a week with me and 3 times in the gym. So he was like training every night. And then obviously having these weekends off. But it came to a point where he got to like that. Me and Mark had just called it a day, and he went back to playing. Danny was in charge. And I knew then he still had wee vibes that he wasn't really, he'd maybe want to get a day, call it a day. And as it turns out he did. He played a sub one game in a pre-season, or maybe it was just a cup section or something at the start of the season. And I think he scored or he set one up. And I was there as a spectator. It was quite kind of weird being there as a spectator. And after he called from he enjoyed the game and that, and he enjoyed being with the boys and that still. And he went, I just think it's time to just focus on my kickboxing. And for that year, ended up became like cadet world champion, stuff like that. I mean, so it was the right move. He went to Unifies in Italy and won a couple of golds, and done that a few times since then. 9 times world champion at tournaments, and then the titles he's had, 6 titles. I mean, so it was the right thing for him. And so now he's training hard every day. He's training twice a day, at least twice a day in the gym with a Sunday off. Started his own PT now. He's running a boot camp as of next Saturday. So I did his own kids class, which is phenomenal. They're based in just off Crown Point Road now. Yeah. So he's doing well, but he's still quiet as a mouse.
Still the same, and he's no changed at
all.
Still
quiet and composed. We always have a laugh at him because with some of his mates and that for the gym, because I've got photos on my phone before his British title, I think it was last year. I went to see how it was. It was about 10:30 at night, 11:15. It was the main event. And up to see him, see how it was, and he was just lying sleeping. We stood up and we left him for a wee bit and then woke him up like half an hour before his fight. Like, you ready to go, mate? Aye. He fought at 12 o'clock that night and he'd been there since like back at 4, which is just what happens. And we didn't end up winning the British title that night, but he was like, aye, fine, no bother. Yeah, I mean, he's so passionate about it, but without, he didn't show it much in emotion wise. I mean, he's focused and concentrated on the job in hand. I mean, it's odd to the guys when I beat him, and especially Stuart, the head guy at PK, because the guy's phenomenal.
PK has been good for obviously Finnart as well, because they've been linked in quite a lot with training and fitness and helping all the teams up their fitness. So obviously we've got to take our hat off to Stuart and the guys at PK and thank them for that as well, for giving all the teams the opportunity. You know what I mean?
And there's a wee vacancy come up now. There's wee spaces come up because obviously Gary Watson's boys don't come anymore because with Gary's team obviously. Chris Watson was the one that he was still involved. 2003 don't come anywhere. I was taking our boys there. Me, Matt were taking Joe were taking the boys there, but they've actually started getting a lot of teams for Cambuslang now. Canby FA or whatever are starting to come in and they're wanting to sign their whole academy up and they've got all these groups. So it's good for the gym. It's good for them. It's good for the young guys. Like Jamie will be taking a team to train and things like that. And it's good for them to push more. It did work. I mean, you'd argue with Phil, he's blue in the face. Can he tell you, nah, no.
The fitness side of the thing certainly worked. There's a difference fitness between football in a game and fitness in general. You know what I mean? And your fitness in general needs to be there for to get the more fitness in the game. You know what I mean? So
the fitness they do a lot is explosive and dynamic stuff they do with the boys in the gym, and you need that in a game. That's where you just that spot, that bit to go, the last push. It's mental strength. I mean, it's things like that you need. So it's easy for me to say I'd always recommend PK for it, but I could see it. I know obviously like Willie Hardy with day teams, whatever. There's odd gyms with day teams. I don't know what they're like. I don't know what kind of sessions they put them through. I've always swore by PK because what Stuart done with us when we first went and how mentally he got into the boys' heads preparing for big games. He would sit and have a talk with them for 15, 20 minutes before a cup final or whatever. You know what I mean? So
I've got Big Steph at the club now, and he's his fitness and all that. He's going to try and help the boys. So I'm going to get him on as well. He's going to try and help them with an eating plan as well and sort of fitness and stuff like that. So it does work, Jamie. It's no these personal trainers and these guys that deliver all this stuff, whether it be kickboxing, martial arts, boxing, MMA, your grip pushes, your PKs, or your independent PTs, guys like Jamie's doing. It works. It does work. It pulls up your fitness, your stamina, your confidence in yourself, your ability to do these jobs. So it can only be beneficial for the football players if somebody's putting them through their paces and help them. So
there's a lot of younger boys. I mean, it's the way forward. If you want to make it as players, that's the first thing teams will look at. It's changed a few years ago now. You go up to Celtic Park or Ibrox, wherever you want to go, and you look at some players and go, how's that boy's a fit player? He's no ability, but he's fit to run all day. I've said it for years now. A lot of games, and that's why I don't watch much of pro football now. But if I dare go, that boy's just there because he run all day for you and he go through a brick house, but he's not got that much ability. You know what I mean? So
I could be a few players that will play for my big team, but I'm not going to because I don't want to out the players that I think are shite though. So there you go. I told you. But Jimmy, it's been great, mate. Thanks very much for giving us up your time.
Oh, thank you, mate.
And always say to the person I'm interviewing as well before we finish, thanks for your opportunity, your time, but more importantly, I'm on a star.
I'm on a star, man. I'm on a star.
This is the beginning of the rest of your life. You better stop moving like you're running out of time. The realization coming over your mind that it should be a canter. If you could just find the answer, you know it could be a canter. If you're just a wee bit less of a wanker, more than half of the time. This is the beginning.